part of the reason that kind of scares me away. I think, no, the first debate I did with Destiny, those first few minutes were so like nerve. Even with Vosh, they were so nerve wracking
I bet.
because it's like this is a guy that like I've watched before or is really popular, and now I have to convince myself that I'm worth this space. Now I have to convince myself that like, hey, you're not wasting your time by doing this. You know, you're not regretting doing this email with me. It's like I have to, make sure that it's worth it for these people and that I'm entertaining everybody. It's a lot of pressure.
And yeah, I didn't get a response. It is what it is. I often worry about the same thing about reaching out to content creators, especially especially him and stuff like that. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth like engaging? Do I want that kind of attention? Like all those questions always come up on the front on the back, like kind of the back of my mind. And I think I would have no issue getting on because like he's used my tweets.
I want it to like rely on like just being a good personality, and I just have to. Right, and I fully believe in myself. I've been doing this for years. I know I have it in me. I know I make good content. I just, it's trial and error, and I just have to like, move to a different community maybe, or just try new things, do new perspectives. The problem is that people aren't inviting me to as many panels as I used to, and it just sucks because I want to have this new era. I want to have this new I want it to like rely on like just being a good personality, and I just have to. Right, and I fully believe in myself. I've been doing this for years. I know I have it in me. I know I make good content. I just, it's trial and error, and I just have to like, move to a different community maybe, or just try new things, do new perspectives. The problem is that people aren't inviting me to as many panels as I used to, and it just sucks because I want to have this new era. I want to have this new chance, and I don't know, looking for a way to do that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked too much.
No, that's okay. Yeah, rebranding is really hard. We could even see this with like Hunter Avalon, like Titanium Rat makes a good point. Like his rebranding was really difficult. It was a lot of like stress and addressing old stuff and dealing with those claims kind of over and over again for the most part. But eventually, like looking at him now and the content he puts out now, I'd be shocked if most of the people in the well, I don't know, in the lefty community still have like a ton of issues with him because it feels like he's been a little bit more well received on the progressive front than probably most people that have changed their views to that degree. Sorry, and the other thing too is when we do this kind of like content creation and we engage with people like that one guy that's making videos about you, we have to kind of question: are we willing to have other people make our life a solid part of their life? Because that's essentially what we're doing, right? We're taking the private aspects of ourselves, making it public, and allowing people to like integrate that into their own lives. And that could be, for some people, that can be really hard, and for some people, that can be really easy. I think it just all depends kind of on how you feel like people doing that. So.
Yeah, I think with Hunter Avalon, it's really interesting because when he started doing that change, he got a lot of like backlash from his community.
Oh yeah.
And he was getting like dislike bombs. But eventually, the people that were watching him before all just moved away because they weren't into the liberal stuff. Maybe he turned over a few people, but I doubt it. But he started growing an audience from the more left wingers, and it's like his audience is smaller. But I feel like he's probably in a happier place. He feels better, and it's just crazy the involvement I've had. Like I don't know. I don't care what other people think. I'm all for reforming people. It's like, oh no, this person was conservative at one point. They can never be on our side. I think that's really stupid. Like, I had weird fucking phases in my life. And that's why I was in Hunter Avalon's chat the other day. And I was literally just like chatting like everyone else. And he notices me. And he's like, oh God, why is Rose Mulet back? And it's like, part of me thinks to myself, it's like, dude, didn't you literally used to like be like extremely far right wing? And it's like, if you're like, oh my God, Rose Mulet's here. Like, I feel like I've thought a lot and changed my process in a lot of ways. So it's like, it's weird when people see me as like irredeemable or I can't accept your evolution or change. When it's like, it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight, which I understand. I'm not going to suddenly become a different person. But it's about wanting to make the effort and doing that. But it's just weird when it's like, he's okay with people, he expects people to treat him a certain way. But when I want to be a certain way, maybe I'm being like unfair because I don't think he was like that mad at me or whatever, but it's just he's here and I'm just like, I don't know, like if I were to talk to him again, not that I plan to, I think things would be a little interesting, maybe a little different, but I don't have a topic to talk about yet. So
well, it could be too that he's just not aware of like the kind of like change in mindset that you've gone through, right? Because I would even say from like some of your tweets and stuff, like I can go through and look, it doesn't really feel like you've marketed yourself that way. It doesn't feel like you've marketed yourself as like a changing and evolving person. And I think one thing that Hunter did really well that was really smart is he would go back and kind of debunk a lot of his old content. And I think that was really smart because it basically gave people a lens to how he used to think to how he thinks now. And I think that can be really beneficial. So I think if you're looking to do a rebrand because you believe that you've had like this change in thought, I think it'd be really good to like maybe engage in that style of content for a little while. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think about it. I think the thing with Hunter though is when the time he did that, I mean, this was, I have to assume, years after he posted the videos. Whereas like for me, the Destiny debate I did about rape and stuff was like 6 months ago, or the Hunter Avalon debate was probably like 6 months ago. So it's like, I don't feel like that's enough time for someone to like completely buy it. At that point, it's like, okay, Rose Mulet just doesn't want to be hated. I don't buy this change. And it's like, I feel like actions kind of speak louder than words. And it's like, maybe the reason I'm not pushing for anything is because if I say, a certain thing, but then I tweet something controversial the next day, people are going to be like, see, she was fake all along. And it's like, I want my evolution to just come naturally. I want people to come to a point and notice it's like, wait, Rose Mulet hasn't tweeted anything controversial in the past few months. That's weird. And it's like, I do tweet controversial, but if you look at the stuff I used to tweet versus the controversial stuff I tweet now, I feel like the stuff I tweet now is like a little bit less controversial than it used to be. And I don't know, I just have other priorities, and it's like I want to do YouTube, I really do, but I don't know, I just a lot of shit has happened in my life that made me kind of question what I was doing and just wish that I'd done things fucking differently. Because it's like what's even the point of this, what I'm doing? And it's like, am I hurting the people around me? Am I making them feel a certain way? Like, I just so fucking wish there's shit I could take back. I mean, this isn't even like fully to do with like the commentary or political shit. I just maybe if I had been like acted a certain way, or maybe if I had had a little bit more respect for like the people around me and not been so defensive over my shitty takes, maybe things would have turned out a bit differently. Maybe certain relationships could have been saved. It's just really fucking messy, and I don't even know where to start.
So one of the best pieces of advice my mother-in-law ever gave me because I had a situation in life where I fucked up pretty hard. I had a job, I fucked up, I made a pretty big mistake, I lost the job, I lost like potential career opportunities for the future. And it was a hard time for me. I took it pretty tough. It wrecked me in a lot of ways mentally that I'm just starting to get over now. And we're talking, this was like 6-7 years ago. Okay. One of the best pieces of advice she gave me is you just have to own your shit, own it, and move forward in the way you want to you want to move forward. Because Titanium is rad is right. Like if you let others dictate how you should move forward and how you should address the stuff that you believe you were wrong in the past, you're still on their leash. You're still subject to their whims and things like that. So but it's hard. Like I won't deny, like I won't sugarcoat it for you. I won't do any of that. It's hard. It's really hard. And it takes a lot of mental effort and a lot of mental work. And from the sounds of it sounds like you're kind of on the right path. The question once again is how much do you want to pay that cost? I think was like one of the original conversations we had, and it's from the sounds of it, you're willing to kind of pay the cost and move and continue moving forward. So I think, honest to God, just own your shit, move forward, like keep moving on it on your own terms, and I think you'll be in the right spot. I think you'll be on the right path.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So. I just know that there's certain things that I've said that are like extremely unhealthy, and I know this, and it's like even some shit from like really recently, and I feel like I'm kind of an impulsive person, so it's like if I were to tweet, I'm never posting anything controversial again. It's not that I don't like. The reason I'm not tweeting that isn't because I don't care. It's not because I don't want to make a change. It's because I recognize enough about myself to know that I can't really guarantee. And it's like, if I can't guarantee, then I don't want to say something like that. Because I know that, when I slip up, because people in rehab or people like, with drugs and stuff, they try to quit when they slip up. That shit happens. It's just a natural part of the process, and it sucks, Like, I lost a shit ton of weight, then I gained it back, but, I'm trying to lose it again. It's like, with all processes and trying to, like, improve yourself and stuff, you're going to have those moments where you slip up and, things don't work out quite the way you want them to. But it's a process, You just have to move in the right direction. And just be satisfied with yourself, and don't beat yourself too hard over it. I mean, I was rewatching the Hunter debate a few days ago, and I was just like really cringing hard, and it's like it was embarrassing, and it's like part of me, and I'm so conflicted because part of me is like, looking at the shit that was around me. I was like, why didn't I prioritize this? Why was I so prioritized on saying my stupid shit for a bunch of people to watch?
Hmm.
And it's like, but then part of me was like feeling like if I didn't do that, then I would have never like learned anything, and I wouldn't have like grown. I would have just had the same opinions and just kept it to myself. And it's like I'm glad, and I like the idea that people are allowed to express their opinions, allow them into the marketplace of ideas. And then if someone convinces you and makes you realize you're wrong, then you learn and you grow from that. And I think that's what's happening with me. And yeah, I mean, it's like I'm impulsive. I tweet shit that's on my mind, but I really do need to talk it out to like see, is this a thing I truly believe in, or does it not stand debate? I feel like that's a healthy process for me. Maybe it's like weird to other people, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's generally probably a healthy thing. I think one thing that you have to remember about this space is not made for learning and growing. This space is made for like blood sports. So like for example, myself, that is a lot of what I do. I tweet out things that I have ideas about. I offer people to come on. I offer people to push back as long as it's in a healthy manner. And honest to God, I'll own pretty much any tweet I put out there. I'll have people on to discuss it, or I'll discuss it with people. But that's not really the content that people are looking for. And that's a, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you keep going. I wasn't.
Oh,
yeah.
And that can be kind of hard to contend with too, because it is like there isn't a lot of people that are really looking for people to grow and learn in the space. They're more looking for that drama, that kind of like impulsiveness that gets you into the spicy hot water.
But
so
that's
they
what
can.
I do. I do drama.
And you know what? And that's okay as long as you have the understanding that you are going to move forward. If it's not your like that if you understand that the take you're giving sometimes, the spicy take, isn't your end point, and that you're willing to evolve and deal with the consequences, I think I think keep doing you. I think it's just you might deal with a little bit more shit than the average streamer or the average tweeter, but I think just kind of doing you and just like walking that path, I think is pretty okay. So.
Which sucks. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Which sucks for me because I feel like I've always dealt with shit in every community, and it's like, for when I started joining this community, when I started talking to Destiny, I thought, maybe this is the place where I can finally, because I was getting canceled from other communities for believing the shit that I'm talking about here. But I thought, it's like, this is a community that's all about talking about your controversial opinions. This is literally what the space was designed for. And it felt really interesting and almost cathartic in a way that I could potentially like make a career out of the shit that I was getting canceled for. So, I mean, it was really nice in a sense to be able to do that. But at the same time, it is a little disappointing that it's like, it's still going to get me hated even here, because I thought this was whatever. But so it's like, sorry?
The one piece of advice that I will give is you will receive hate no matter where you go. Everywhere you go in life, somebody will hate you. You can be the nicest person in the world, somebody will hate you. That's how people work. I don't know what it is about people. It's just some people live absolutely fucking miserable lives, and they need people to hate. So it won't matter if you're there's people that like, you could have a fucking 90-year-old grandmother. She'd be the sweetest, bakes cookies, fucking always calls her grandkids. She's just absolutely loving, like gives all her money to charity type deal. I guarantee you there'll be some person on this planet that fucking hates that old woman. Guaranteed. Because that's
Here's the thing.
That's just people. Sorry? That's just people. Yeah, go ahead.
You're right in a sense, but at the same time, the thing that doesn't bother me is the hate. I've dealt with so much hate. I know what to expect it, and I don't really care about it when I feel like it's fair, when I feel like it's proportional. But there's people on this website that like, they have like 95% positive like ratios. Now, obviously, they still get like a shit ton of haters. They still get all the negative messages. I'm not denying this. But it's like, when the vast majority of your comments are positive and only some of them are negative, it's a very different thing than like the majority of your comments being negative and the positive comments being the exception to the rule. So it's like, when I feel like my hate is disproportionate to who I am and what I stand for, and it's like, that's what bothers me. It's like, I could understand if it's like, if I felt like there was a genuine reason to feel this way, fine. But I don't feel like it matches, and that's the thing that bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
I can see you feel it as like unwarranted.
Some people are targeted more than others. Let's not deny this. Hate isn't an equal thing.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but you'll never eliminate
Everyone still gets it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's no way you can avoid it. But most of your audience, for most people, most of their audience is like people that like them.
That is true. Yeah.
No, I know. I need to evolve. That's the thing. I thought about this. I don't want to be known as like the girl who made like the really controversial, like crazy takes. It's like, part of it is like that's what gets you known in this space. That's what gets me like on these like big, streamers and stuff. But it's like I want to like evolve past that and get to a point where like people like me as like a personality, people like me as like a person, and I can move past that. And people have, gotten past the worst before. It's like, people have tried to cancel me like so many times, but I keep evolving and I keep growing to bigger communities and than ever before that people don't expect me to do. So I don't, I'm not worried about that. I just have to figure out, what's it for me and like what's the right, course to take going forward. And
Hmm.
it's like I'm patient, it might not happen right away. People will be like, "Oh my God, Rose fell off," but it's like that's not how I work.
Hmm.
There's always up periods and down periods. There's periods where no one wants to talk to you, and then there's periods where like, holy shit, this thing kind of blows up. That's what happened with my song going viral on TikTok or entering this community or like all these other things. It's just I just got to keep consistent in what I'm doing. And, it'll take me maybe a year or two to like really find my stride. But once I do, I'm going to really get going with this shit. So I'm being patient. I'm not in a rush. I've got plenty of time to figure everything out. So, if I don't, do anything crazy in the next few months, that's okay. I kind of need a rest period anyway. And then I'll come back stronger than ever and better than ever with form takes.
What do you think about your personality? Do you want people to take away from your content? What do you think people need to see that makes Rose Mulet? What do you think you want to attract people with your personality?
That's a tough question because it's like I look at my content. Sorry?
That is a tough question, yeah.
Because I look at my content and it's like I do generally think I have this problem where I attract the wrong people. And part of the reason why is like this whole thing I do with my channel when I make videos. It's like I don't make videos conforming to the common narrative. If I see like 1,000 people in the commentary community being like, "Oh my God, this person," like one of the things was like Susie Lou, or let's make another video about Deaf Noodles, or let's make another video about like X, Y, and Z. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, okay, well, these people have already covered it before me. These people probably have more professional looking videos. It's like, if I just repeat the same shit that they're doing, no one's going to care. No one's going to watch it. And it's like, I'm just screaming to the echo chamber. I'm just doing the same shit as everyone else. So what I have to do is I have to focus on, what makes me different from other people. Because it's like, I could focus, I could, say the common stuff. And that's the problem with a channel like mine. You look at me and you think, oh my God, all my opinions are extremely insane. But the thing is, when I have like a super liberal opinion that like everyone agrees with, I don't spend my time focusing on that because it's a given. I don't need to argue. I don't need to debate things that we see. The sky is blue. I'm not going to have an argument being like, look, the sky is blue. No, it's red. Let's talk about it. Like, I'm not going to argue, hey, the earth is round. Like, obviously that's a bit hyperbolic and not like, really what I'm saying here. But I want to focus on the things that I differ from because that's, the process. But I think the problem with that is that it makes me come off as a very aggressive, or it makes me come off as like a very what is the antithesis? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? A disagreeable person, maybe. It makes me come off as like I'm just kind of looking for an argument. I'm just kind of looking, and it's like I completely understand.
A contrarian,
a contrarian.
Yeah, a contrarian.
That's what we're looking for. It absolutely makes me come off that way, and it's like, that's not a way you make friends. That's not a way you make friends. If your only thing is let's disagree, let's talk about it, it's like everything you agree with, I'm gonna argue against. Like maybe there needs to be a part of me that is like not super afraid to like say things that are maybe kind of givens. But it's like at the same time, if I do that, what am I doing? I'm just doing it for social brownie points. I'm being like, hey guys, rape is bad, guys. Big shocker. Let me make 15 videos on, oh my God, this woman was sexually assaulted and this was a terrible thing. It's like, what's the point of that? Everyone's making a video on this woman got sexually assaulted and it was evil and terrible. It's like, if I don't make a video, do people think I support rape? I mean, I guess based on what I said, maybe they do, but for most people, no. So it's just like, I don't see the purpose in those kinds of videos.
Well, so then that content's not for you, right? It just might be you have to find kind of your niche. I'm with you. A lot of I think it kind of comes from this space sometimes where we compare ourselves really, really hard to what others are doing.
Yeah.
I do have the same fear as you because like I'll be the first to admit it. I watch some Destiny content. Okay, I'm a little bit of a Destiny whore. Okay. And I often worry that I'm just parroting like things that he is saying in like a different way that like I would be saying it kind of in my style. It is a worry that I have. But at the end of the day, I think that's more of like an insecurity that the thoughts I have are not my own, which is absolutely not the fucking case. in my everyday life, the things that I do, the things that I engage in, I am very confident in. I look after my son in a very confident way. I look after my family. Everything I do is very confident, and I'm very, very secure in what I do. I, honest to God, think it is just this space of the comparing and the like correlating our content with other people's content. So if there's content that you want to do, but it's similar to what somebody else is doing, fucking do it anyways. If somebody was painting a mountain range and you're like, you know what, I kind of want to paint a mountain range, would you ever not paint a mountain range just because somebody else is doing it?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like certain elements like that, like basic core concepts, but it's like if I make a song, right? Like I make music. If I make a song and I realize, oh, this melody sounds like this other song, it's like I'm not gonna stop making the song that I like because of it. Like my own song is different in certain ways. I don't think I'm like stealing anything. And it's like no one's gonna listen to it, so it's not like a huge deal. You know, great artists steal. Good artists like are inspired. I don't fucking remember the quote.
I think it's like good. What is it? Great artists steal and good artists are like original or something like that. Like, yeah, good artists are original and great artists steal.
I don't fucking remember, but it's something like that. I think we both know the thing. But that's the whole point. I just with content, the only thing is mostly the views, right? It's if I steal someone else's content, they're better at it. They've been doing it for longer. They have more viewers. There's no reason for that person to click on my video over there. So I have to give them something new because I need to make them be like, hey, this is the only video on YouTube you're going to get this information. So if you want to hear this information, you need to click on my video, which is especially, good for me because it's like, I need people to click on my videos because people don't like it. They don't want to click mine. So it's like I did a worst music of 2022 video. But people typically do those in like mid-December, early December. So my gimmick was I'm going to make my video in mid-November. That way, if you want to see this type of video, mine is the only one on the market from November to December 1st. I made it. It's like, even if people don't like me, you're going to have to see my video if you want to see one of these, if you want to see it early. And I felt like that's the way I stand out,
That is kind of this space. It's like the early bird gets the worm type deal on the content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I understand that, like in the commentary community, if you're seeing one person comment on something, there's 100 other people that have watched that fucking video and commented on it. The beautiful thing is the world is filled with many people that are just like me, that might enjoy content just like mine. They just might not be exposed to it. One big thing to keep in mind in this space is 98% of the people that get lucky or that make it are luck. It's it. That's the end of the day.
Oh,
that's all it is. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is I don't think I told this story to you, but I had this guy that I collaborated with a long fucking time ago. Like before I was in this space, it was like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
He had like 300 subscribers. I had 100 subscribers.
Okay.
And then like, a few months later, he starts blowing up and now he has like 200,000 subscribers. But like for the longest time, this guy and like people around him were like convinced that like, no, the reason they were so big is because they were just good and they were that much better than everyone else. It's like, no. I saw it happen. It was like this bigger channel happened to notice, and then there was some capitalizing and stuff. But it's just luck. It really is, and I hate when people deny that. And I always say this: my goal is to try to minimize the amount of factors to try to get my luck and my chances of success, my chances of failure as close to 0% as possible. If I can eliminate all of the aspects of luck that I can control, then I can make my situation a lot better. But it's like there's always no guarantees, right? And it's like when my song went viral on TikTok, when 37,000 people used it, 200 million people heard my song, I got to deal with like UMG briefly. It's like that was fucking luck. I'm not going to deny it. Now, obviously, there was a lot of calculations I did, probably more than the average person as a song blew up, right? Like, I titled it in a way that was strategic, that would get me on the top of search results. I basically chose a term that I knew a lot of people were going to search was underutilized. So it's like there were only X amount of videos, when it's like this was a term that like people were using all the fucking time. So it's like there's a lot of shit I did behind the scenes, but it's like they could have picked some other song over mine. There's no reason why they had to pick mine. There's a lot of luck involved. I think there's a mix of both, right? Like if you just post random shit videos, they're not going to get 1 million views. But there's like 1,000 creators posting high quality content, and only one of them is going to get like absurd amount of views. But it's like a lot of them just don't get noticed. And it's like they people have this misconception that like, oh, all of these videos that are getting a ton of views are the best on YouTube. And it's like, no, there's people putting like hours and hours of work, but they only get like 100 views because no one knows to look for them. No one knows they're there,
Yep.
It's just a thing, and I wish people would acknowledge this. And it's like kind of a myth of like capitalism in general. It's like I guess I'm capitalist. I'm not a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that like every rich person worked for and deserved. It's just a really toxic mentality, and it's not true. Like I don't think fucking Elon Musk or fucking Jeff Bezos are just like 1,000, a million times smarter than everyone else. No, they lucked into certain situations. They were in the right place at the right time. Does that mean they deserve to be like X amount richer than everyone else? I don't know. Should they receive the fruits of their labor? Yes, but I mean, to what extent? You know, for people to fucking starve in the streets because they weren't as lucky, like fuck that. You know, people deserve to live a decent life. Absolutely. So absolutely.
Yeah, no, yeah, and it's kind of hard for people to rectify that it is a lot of luck. And I think that's like one of the chats I had earlier is the guy's like, "Oh, you're only streaming to 4 people," and it's like, so. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing this as a hobby, man. Like, I would never look at somebody who's, like, building a table and be like, oh, you only build 1 table a year? What a fucking loser. I'd be like, yeah, I do it as a hobby. I do my thing. I put my ideas out in the world. People can choose whether or not they engage with it when they come across it. And if they do, great. If they don't, I don't care. Like, it's not at the end of the world for me. But I think there are a lot of people that are kind of like insecure in the online space when it comes to like views and people engaging with them and clout and stuff like that. And they just, I think a lot of people hardcore project more than they realize. So.
No, but here's the thing, and I'm going to use 2 examples within this community. The first example, think of Hassan Abi, right? The only reason Hassan is the streamer that he is, and people I think forget this, his uncle is like the guy who runs the Young Turks, like Chet Uger, whatever the fuck his name is. He literally is a product of nepotism. Now, that's not to discredit him or be like his videos or anything. Like, I think, I get that he's not like super liked in this space, but it's like, yeah, I think he has like a purpose. But at the same time, it's like, he had significant advantages over everyone else. And if he wasn't related to the guy who runs, whatever the fuck, the Young Turks.
TYT.
Yeah, if he wasn't related to that, there's no fucking way he would have been nearly as popular as he was. And to deny that is crazy. So it's like, I mean, there's first-hand example. Like, think of, like, even Lavloon, who, she's appeared on Destiny a few times. I'm not saying this to be me. I'm saying this as a general thing. I'm all for being lucky. I was born into, like, a pretty wealthy family. That was fucking luck. I went to a private school where I was able to learn at a place other people didn't. Like, I'm not denying that I have my own fucking advantages in life. But what I'm saying is like, Lav, for instance, she became popular in music, but the only reason she became popular is because Billie Eilish randomly stumbled upon one of her songs and mentioned it in an interview. Like, you have to tell me that's luck, right? There's no way that Billie Eilish randomly stumbling upon your song when no one knows who you are, that is
anything but luck.
Definition of luck, right?
Yeah.
Having an uncle who works at a company is luck, and I'm not saying that everyone is like as lucky. Like, I'm sure, I don't know the thing about Destiny, right? Let's think about Destiny. I think the reason he's such a good debater is that he's been doing this shit for so many fucking years, and he has so much practice. And it's like, obviously, when I debate him, and I was worrying when I talked to him, it's like, this is a guy who has so much more experience than I have. So I need to come at it away. So, like, if I try to win this debate, it's like me. I play chess, right?
Okay.
I'm like an amateur at chess. If I were to play a grandmaster in chess, someone who's like super experienced, I can't go into it winning the game. So I have to play passively and try to get as much of a draw or as little mistakes as possible. I know I'm going to lose the game, but if I can come out looking as competent as possible, then it's a win for me. That was essentially the way I looked into my debate with Destiny. Because Destiny is, I guess, like a grandmaster equivalent to debating. It's his job. He's a professional at this. He's been doing it for like a decade. So I know that I'm in the amateur debating sphere. So if I come out looking like a rational, insane person, and I come out looking like I didn't make any major mistakes, then it's a win for me. Maybe I didn't, quote unquote, win the debate, but with somebody like that, you're not going to win the debate. So you just have to come out looking, getting the audience to like you and feel a certain way. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I kind of keep shifting the topics.
No, you're good. I'm here for the fucking memes and the conversation. So,
I'm gonna prove experience.
Yeah, it's a tough game that is played with content creation, and I think even Destiny would admit that a lot of the success he's had when he was starting out his streaming is luck, and I'm almost certain I've heard him say it is like he was in the right place at the right time. Streaming was just being a thing. He was witty. He was able to use that wit for online humor. Like, he was in spaces that he could kind of like flex his personality pretty easily, and it all led to like the success that he sees today. And I think like one big thing too that Titanium Rat brings in again, which he is being an absolute fucking baller chatter today, is like somebody like Hasanabe. He doesn't really challenge himself, right? Like there's no real challenge. Like he kind of sits in a safe space. There's no real debate. There's no real growth. So obviously any hard work that he's put in is kind of, in my opinion, is a little bit stifled when you're not challenging yourself like that. Because it's like, how much are you just holding on to your spot that you've got versus how much are you actually, I don't know, it feels weird to say, but actually putting in the work to maintain that. It kind of feels like you've just hit a status quo that you're sitting at, and you're doing the best that you can to maintain that. And I think a couple of the debates that he's had that haven't really gone his way, he's kind of felt the sting of his audience from that. And I think it's interesting watching big streamers kind of navigate the attention they get. So
yeah, and the thing with Destiny like that is like, even like, let's say, and I can't point out a specific issue, but let's say, for instance, you're just a random person on the public who doesn't really have any debate experience. And for whatever reason, you're correct and Destiny's in the wrong for his opinion, right? Even if you're in the wrong, someone like Destiny is going to have enough experience and knowledge and confidence and like know the right things to say or know the right kind of arguments. But it's like, you could have the right argument and still lose the debate because you're just not as good as a debater. Like that happens like with these right wingers. They interview like these random college kids. The college kids lose the debate, no doubt, and it's clear when you watch the videos. But a lot of the times what they're saying is in the right. They just aren't confident debaters, so they can't really argue correctly. And that's kind of the problem in spaces like this. Not to say that's a bad thing, but it's something to keep in mind.
Well, yeah, the rhetoric and how the audience perceives you is huge. Like, look at Steven Crowder. That's kind of his whole, like, business model. Is he deals with college students that what they're saying is not, like, it's a little bit out there, but it's only a little bit out there just because of like who they are, how unseasoned they are, kind of the mindset that you would be. Because like, how old is Steven Crowder? He must be in his mid-30s, early 40s.
I have to imagine. I don't know exactly his age.
So like, if you're going to debate college students, that's pretty. I don't know. It feels kind of low. Like you should be. He's 35 years old. He should be debating. Like if he was debating people around his age that have like the same kind of life experiences with him, I think it would be more telling of how much he's thought through his positions. So.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But the problem is, I think there's two reasons why he does it the way he does. It's like, first of all, you can come out with easy W's, right? If you come off, it makes you look a lot smarter, and it's like, I'm crushing these kids. They don't know anything. And it's also because a lot of the rhetoric is about these liberal college kids, and that's a lot of the stuff they talk about, and it exposes them as well. It's like, oh, you see these college kids, they don't know shit. All of this stuff that they're claiming, all these liberal ideas, and it makes them look good because they spend all their time talking about how liberal colleges are such a toxic place where they teach people these bad things. It's like Ben Shapiro does the same thing too. He used to go and like these debate rooms, and he would just like talk to like random people. And, he used to be like, oh, I own this person. Oh, I completely own them. And, like, the whole room would, like, applaud. But it's like, that's such a biased space, Like, everyone in the room is rooting for one side. Even if the person makes a good point. And also, Ben Shapiro has complete control of when you get to speak or when I get to speak. So he always gets the last say. He always gets to respond. And maybe the other person doesn't get... I mean, there's, like, just a lot of power dynamics where it's like, I guess... It's not very fair, but at the same time, it's made in a way that makes it look like he's crushing the other people. And it's like, if you listen to what they're saying, it's not even that wrong, but maybe the way they're saying it just isn't the right way. But Ben Shapiro is an experienced person, who knows what to say and knows what to do, so he'll always come off like he's winning.
Well, and that's the thing, too, and that's been, like, the kind of critique of, like, Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro is, like, when you get somebody like Destiny being like, all right, let's debate, let's talk about these topics. And they won't do it, and it's so hard to pin them down. It's one of those, like...
Because they know.
Yeah, because they know they're going to look like idiots, right? They're going to look like fools, and it's like, okay, well, you're okay making college students who don't know what they're talking about look like idiots, but now when you're put on the back foot to kind of defend the ideas with somebody who's a little more competent, it'd be like somebody going to, like a Taekwondo match, and it's like me versus my 6-year-old child, and I'm like, yes! I fucking beat him every time, and then somebody's like, okay, do you want to fight this, like, black belt, like massive mountain of a man? It's like, not really, but I'm pretty good at kung fu. And it's like, are you? Like all you fought is like kids. It seems a little weird to like gloat that you're this amazing like Taekwondo
right
dude.
And it's like what do they have to gain by defending someone like Destiny? They're already getting millions of views.
Yep.
I think if they did something like that, it would only be negative because there's two scenarios. The first scenario is you go on there and then it's like all these fans and all these people on the left start to be like, oh my God, this guy who's supposed to be this great debater just got owned. And all of a sudden, their reputation takes a hit. Or like, even if they do well, maybe some of the other stuff says is questioning some of the views, right? Because some of the stuff they believe, the slightest bit of, thought towards their ideas can cause people to change their mind. Maybe they don't want that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like,
yeah, I think people don't like to look dumb, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest ways, and I think this is pretty true. I think one of the easiest ways to make like somebody look like they've lost a debate is just make them look dumb. And that's like, you can usually tell when somebody is leaning towards actually losing a debate, because they'll kind of engage in those practices that make the other person look more stupid than they are. And it can be really frustrating. And don't get me wrong, there's some stupid people out there, and if the person saying stuff is making themselves look stupid, it's usually a good sign that person lost. But when you're kind of being bad faith or misinterpreting what they're saying to make them look stupid, I think it kind of errs on the side of you not really being as confident in your debate or your ideas. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's like and another thing these people do that's really good, and something that I definitely do myself, and I don't think I do this on purpose, it's just kind of who I am. They know how to stay calm and composed. So it's like, for instance, let's say a conservative says something really like hurtful, like something really transphobic or something really malicious or dog piles in a way that like most people aren't going to see as a problem, but for someone who's like really knowledgeable or really like, sensitive to that kind of thing, it can be really effective. It can be like, if you misgender someone or claim that your identity is invalid, or claim like, certain races are more aggressive and stuff, that can really affect some people. But the thing that they do that's smart is they know how to stay composed. But then when the other person freaks out, it makes them look irrational and be like, so this person's freaking out at me sharing my opinion, but I managed to stay calm and composed. It makes most people look at the situation and be like, well, this person's calm and composed, this person's being rational, they know what they're saying, and this person, can't even like, be calm in a situation. They can't even have these conversations. Why should I trust someone who can't have these conversations, have these opinions? And it makes them look like the winner to most people because of how the human brain works. So it's just like these tactics that people can use to like push things in their favor. It's just really interesting.
It is, and in some ways it's really frustrating because you'll have like Ben Shapiro where he's like, facts don't care about your feelings. But then they'll enter so many feelings into the conversation and then almost like mock other people for having feelings. And it's like, wait a minute, you're human, I'm human. We recognize that people have feelings, and the feelings are going to kind of like determine how they talk about this topic. And some feelings on a topic are good, some feelings on a topic are bad, right? And it's really frustrating sometimes that it's almost like you have like these debaters or commentators that want to be seen and want to treat people like humans, but at the same time, they almost go out of their way to not do that with people, which can be really, really frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying when people just like dehumanize other people. And it's like, it's so hypocritical too, because it's like, I hear some of the stuff that they're saying. It's like, I'm so mad that our traditional values or like white people are being like overlooked. And it's like, wait a second, aren't these like emotions? Like people are being mad for like the opposite reasons. And it's like, hold on a second. And it's like, it's okay to have emotions, but then to go against other people who you disagree with, to be like, oh no, this person is mad because people don't like them. And it's like, okay, but aren't you making yourself like the victim complex? Like you're mad that other people, don't want the same culture that you're used to. It's like, we can have honest conversations, but like, let's talk on an equal playing ground. I'm not saying that everything they say is invalid or dismissive, but it's just like, the way that they phrase stuff, it just makes it very hard for some people. And I don't agree with like the super people who are like, they don't listen to anything Republicans say. It's like, I think there's valid things that they can say, but it's like, we have to have conversations. We got to be smarter the way we talk about things.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, well, the issue is like, once your credibility is like hurt in one area, it's really hard to gain back. One lesson I'm having a tough time teaching my son, and it's that age. Every kid does it, but every parent won't admit it. every kid at a young age will try to lie to get away with things. Always happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's really frustrating as a parent because it's like you could just tell me the truth. But kids don't work that way. Kids make stories, kids have imaginations. To them it's not lying, but to as an adult with like a frontal cortex and shit that all should be working properly, it's lying. One of the biggest and the hardest lessons to try and teach a young child is once you kind of break down that trust, it's really hard to get it back. And for a lot of people, and arguably you've kind of had to learn this lesson in some degrees when it comes with your takes and how people interpret it. Once people have a bad interpretation or a bad feeling about you, it is hard to get that good grace back. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's what I deal with. I think there's certain people where it's like, they do this thing, or the reasons they hate someone don't even have to be super valid. They can literally be proven wrong.
Yep.
But once you have an echo chamber, once you have a certain community gang up on somebody, it's really hard to overcome that. And it's like people aren't willing to acknowledge that, or the systemic issues, or the reasons why people could hate somebody. And it's not always valid. It's not always logic. Like, people are never going to take me as seriously as other people because of other shit, or because other people said this or this about me. It's like, it's not fair, and it's kind of fucked up. But it's like, if I say it, it's like, oh no, Rose is mad because people are mad at her because of her shit takes. It's like, no, there's a deeper thing that you guys aren't understanding. This isn't just about me, but it also applies to me, It's just something that people don't want to acknowledge.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, people hate for really weird reasons, like having somebody in here earlier that was like, with the 4 viewers. That's a weird thing. That's a weird thing to hate on, right? It's a weird thing where like, oh, your wife is sick and you're not spending time with her, like she's upstairs resting and you're not with her, and it's like that's a weird thing to hate on. Yeah, I don't need to be around her 24/7, right? And people are just people like I said, people that want to hate will always find a reason to hate you.
But it's just like shit like that. It's like stuff that really they're trying to sting you. It's like, what's even the fucking purpose? It's like, you don't know this person's personal life. You don't know the shit that they're going through. So it's just making assumptions about that to people, even if you're like so confident about it. It's just kind of a weird thing to do.
Were you ever bullied a lot in high school or anything like that?
Not really. I mean,
Nope.
I guess maybe a little bit. Like,
Okay.
I kinda.
Okay.
But I dropped out of school before I transitioned because I worried about that. So like, there was a reason. Why?
That's right. Well, like,
Not
because
as people think I would have been bullied. I really wasn't bullied that much. But
okay.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say I was bullied a lot in all throughout school.
Sorry.
Oh, fuck it. It is what it is. Appreciate it though. One thing that I've come to learn about a lot of people that are kind of like hateful or kind of like that bully mentality is their lives are usually so fucking depressing that the only outlet they have as like a coping mechanism is to try to make other people feel just as shitty as they feel, in the hopes that that you can be pulled down to their level so that somebody else can try to understand maybe the pain or the hurt they're going through. And I found this with every single person that bullied me, is you would go back and you would look at their life at that point, and it was fucking rough. It was rough. Like their parents were either getting divorced, they had issues at home, maybe they weren't doing well in school, they had their own insecurities that they were going to try to project onto you. And kind of in my old age, I've come to realize that those people that are exceptionally shitty, I have more sympathy for them than I would have when I was younger. But but it's hard to make somebody realize that that's why they're bullying somebody else, because they won't see it as that way. They'll just see it as like, no, you're the fucked up person, and that's why.
That person's just evil. They're just a terrible. Like, no, have sympathy. It's like, yeah, this person did some messed up things, but like, they're going through shit. Be more sympathetic to that. Yeah. And it's like, a lot of people my age are like this, and that's what bothers me. And that's what I say that like other people. It's like they'll mature. Like, I had to mature my own shit. They'll mature and they'll realize it's like, what they said was wrong, what they did was wrong. But they're not evil people. They, just be sympathetic to their struggles. And it's like, I think about why wasn't I bullied? And I think the reason is because, like, I had a close friend group. I played a lot of chess when I was a kid. People cheered me on because I was the kid that cheered everyone else on. I was a pretty positive. Things were really happy in my life. I was in a wealthy family. I had, like, 2 parents that were married to each other. Didn't really have anything that I had to struggle on. So it's like, I had no reason to act in any, like, way that made people not like me. I had like a few problems here and there, but I think I was, in a pretty fortunate place. And the reason why I am the way I am now, and why I'm so like contrarian, I guess, is because I went to like an online space where I was trans and I didn't tell any of my friends that I transitioned. So I basically lost all my friends because of it. Kind of like a dumb thing to do, but I was just really scared. I didn't know what they think. So I put all of my investment into this stupid fucking website. I just was a nice person because people were nice to me, and that's how I, treated people. And they treated me like shit. I got abusive shit, and it was just like fucking terrible. And it kind of molded me into this person I am today. And I think if I not had that experience, I wouldn't, not have ended up like this. So I think that's probably why a lot of people are like, why wasn't, I don't know. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Titanium Rat is on point again. Like, this is a very specific group of people, and there are people out there that are just legitimately shitty fucking human beings that, they just...
they're all in this fucking community, all the fucking commentary, political community. I think a lot of, like, some of the worst kinds of people are here.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
But I see the shit they say. They're like the 0.1% of people,
Oh, and that's hard too, because depending on what like bubble you exist on online, it can feel like everybody's that way, and it can be really hard to see past that. Yeah. So
it's so fucking sad too, because like I don't want to get like too personal, but I've seen firsthand how some of the shit that people in this community can say, it really fucking hurts people, and just so much. I wish people understood like the shit that they were causing onto other people, and it's like, what's the point? We could literally have the space with each other where we're just like nice to each other, where it's like all this shit that you guys are dealing with in your personal life, let's all like come together and like not be mean to each other. Let's have a space where we can accept each other and like be friends and stuff. But no one wants to do that for whatever reason. They're just so concerned on being like,
it's just
so silly to me.
It's just not human. It's just not human nature. I mean, you look all throughout history, all throughout everything. Like, arguably, we're in the best. Like, for the West, we're in one of the best peace times that we've ever been in. And I think it's human nature to be confrontational with each other. And I think instead of having it where we're physically violent, I think the internet has allowed us to transition to a more digital violence way, in where we use our words and our online presence as a form of violence towards other people, instead of like going out and actually committing like acts of physical violence towards each other. Now, there are still obviously people that do, and there's people that exist in both spaces, but I think a vast majority of people, not a vast majority, I think there's a good sizable chunk of society that uses the online spaces like they're kind of outlet for some of that shit. So.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there on the online space. I'll tell you what, it's a ride.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Hold on, sorry, I have to email my professor because I'm seeing something that is. I'm sorry, it's nothing to do with you.
That's okay.
I just wanna. They're asking for something a little earlier than I expected. They said I do it at 5. Now it's like I'm gonna be here from 12 to 2:30, and I'm just like, wait a second. I just planned my whole day around the fact that I had until 5 to do this shit, and now you're saying this. So now I have to email this guy and be like, is there any way I can see you tomorrow? Because it's like I'm already, I don't have enough time to finish this thing. I have like this thing I have to do, unless I really rush through it. But if I rush through it, it's 12:09 right now. Do you think I could rush through like the design for this project and be able to hand it in by 2 p.m.? I don't think I could do it.
What is it?
I don't think it's I have to like design this 14-page thing. So I don't think it's possible.
Oh, 2.5 hours? That's rough. Oh.
No, it's less than that. It's like an hour and a half now.
Oh, I'd probably say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm screwed. But we'll figure it out. Okay. I have to email this guy. Sorry about that.
No, all good. We're just chilling. And yeah, and I think like one thing that I bring to the space that a lot of people don't bring to the space is, while I might judge people on the shit they do, I'm not like condemning usually people for the actions that they take. Usually, there's a few people I will. And I think that's like something that's missing in this space, is there's so many judgmental people, but on the back of that judgment is like a lot of condemning nature, which is usually where the toxic aspects of it come. But usually, I've chatted with you, I've chatted with other people, I've had, usually anybody that wants to come on and chat about anything, I usually have them on pretty willy-nilly, as long as they're not kind of like assholes about it. But
yeah. No, exactly. I don't understand people who like literally go out of their way to like make fun of people's appearances, or they go out of their way to just like insult people in like unnecessary ways. It's like so stupid. Like I have my lines, and I have my lines that I will not cross, and no one ever gives me credit for that shit. It's like people have said fucking awful shit to me. People have said terrible shit to me, and it's just, oh my god. But you know, I don't ever tell someone to like, you know, people will literally be like KYS. People will be like, oh my god, you're like the worst. And it's just like I don't do that shit to other people.
No.
And it's like if I shit on somebody, I'm shitting on somebody and that's the thing about me. I have morals like this. I don't shit on the people that it's like everyone already fucking hates. I don't dogpile on people that are being dogpiled. What's the point? They're dealing with enough shit already. They deserve better. I shit on the people that are the people that have 95% like ratios on YouTube and get like, you know, 100 comments and 5 of them are negative. Those people deserve criticism. Those people are stuck in their echo chambers. No one's willing to criticize them, and I want to be the one that does before anyone else does. I see it as I'm balancing out the world. I see that there's a perfect imbalance. There's an injustice, and it's my job to fix it. Is that stupid? Maybe that's like...
it's a little bit... I mean, if you want me to be honest, it's a little bit of a hero complex, but you know what? It is what it is.
Bit.
Yeah.
It is a little...
I think everybody goes through a hero complex, honestly.
But
yeah,
I do think that there's some merit to it. I do think there's some merit to being like, well, people are overlooking this person, and I want to focus my effort. I always punch up. I always punch, like, that's something that's rewarded. It's like, I'm gonna look at the people that people are looking at, and I'm not like seeking them out. I'm not like searching for them. But it's like if someone like a content creator I like, or that's like a well-liked content creator does something I think is kind of messed up, I'll talk about it. I won't just sweep it under the rug because it's like, oh, this person's a good person. They can't make mistakes. Let's not acknowledge this. This person has good intentions. It's like, no, I'm gonna call it out as hard as I can, and I'm gonna be even harsher to these people. The people that people think are like, you know, the nicest or most accepting. I'm partial to those because they are the most likely to listen to my most extreme criticism. It's all about optics. If I talk to someone that's transphobic, I'm not gonna like nitpick when they like misgender somebody. I'm not gonna nitpick when they're like, you know, saying like incorrect statements or things that they're kind of just ignorant about. I'm just gonna try to be civil with them. I have to like know my audience and what I can get away with and what I can talk about to just have a really pleasant conversation with the other person. I don't know. Maybe the way I handle things is a little unconventional, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, I mean, the space thrives on unconventionality, so it might work out for you.
Yeah. Cool.
So when are you having another Destiny debate then? You got to go back on and redeem yourself.
How do I like make that happen though? Because like I don't have anything to like know I want to talk about him, and it's like if I message him on Discord, I don't want him to like block me or risk losing that connection and stuff. But at the same time, I want it to happen. So it's like, how do I make it happen? And how do I make it happen naturally? Do I just send him another email? It's like, what do? I don't know.
I mean, for him, it seems to be like having a topic of conversation that you can either disagree with, or that'll be a little bit of like a contentious back and forth with you and him. Seems to be the way that his content kind of goes and what he kind of looks for.
Do you think it's worth it to just like send an email out to just like shoot my shot again and be like, hey, it's Rose Mulet. We talked sometime in the past, but it's like I think what it is, I need to have like something to talk about. But it's like, maybe it's stupid. I don't think there's that much of a risk, all things considered, if I email him for him to just be like, stop emailing me. I don't think he cares that much. But there's like a fear in me that if like I already emailed him, I already talked to him, am I asking for too much? It's like, I don't think I am. But I'm a little worried about it. And it works before. It literally, I emailed the guy once, and I got a debate out of it. I emailed Bosch once, I got a debate out of it. I'm 100% success rate with these people. So I get nervous. And it's like, you know, I did it already. I could say I did it. I'd love to do it again. I just have to find the right topic, and I don't have the right topic yet. So.
Yeah, which I think is fair, and it could be just you just wait for your opportunity to
I will find something.
Yep.
And when it happens naturally, when I see the thing that I want to make the debate, I will know. But then I also just get scared that it's just going to be a bunch of people being like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah." But you know, it's okay.
I mean, that's something like I've never. I think I've reached out to him once, but it wasn't really for a debate. It was just kind of giving like a piece of info on something he was talking about. And yeah, I didn't get a response. It is what it is. I often worry about the same thing about reaching out to content creators, especially especially him and stuff like that. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth like engaging? Do I want that kind of attention? Like all those questions always come up on the front, on the back, like kind of the back of my mind. And I think I would have no issue getting on because like he's used my tweets before and stuff in some of his videos. Like I've seen my tweets pop up and stuff, me arguing with people, like the Keffel stuff and there was that Nine Tails. I was arguing with her one time. Some of my tweets popped up on a video about that. So I don't think like I obviously have these. He's like seen my name. He might know a little bit of me, but it's the same kind of thing. There's nothing really for me to go on and really debate about. So the kind of content that he's looking for isn't quite there. Nor do I have really anything to discuss that we might come to new understandings on. So I've just never really reached out and engaged with that kind of. So yeah.
Yeah. I won't be able to make it. Oh, sorry. I'm just reading off my own letter.
Hey, you're good.
So the reason I'm not saying anything is because I'm multitasking. But I as soon as I send this email, you'll have my full attention in my comments.
Sounds good.
So,
you know what? Chat can wait for a second because I got to pee anyways. So you can mumble the chat. So I'll be back.
Amazing timing. I promise I won't say anything crazy while you're gone. See? Hello, chat. It's me. I'm invading the stream. You know, it's funny. I always wonder if people like watch these back because like I know I do. When I like leave for a few minutes, I'm like, I always want to see like what did they say? What did I miss? You know? And it's usually not anything. But I always wonder, is there going to be that person who just says that crazy thing or does that crazy thing while I'm gone just to like mess with me? It's like I don't want to be that kind of person. Yeah, it's a ghost. The ghost is speaking. It's the voice of the chair. Oh no. Yeah. I know, it's a chair. It's a nice chair too. Yeah. Look, I don't have much to say or entertain. You know, I'm kind of preoccupied at the moment. But I hope you guys are liking the conversation because I'm really glad I went on today. Because it was a really stressful day, really busy. I really did need something like this to just like keep my mind off of everything. You know, just a lot. Let's see. Let me read through this email again. Let's put in. Him. Okay. Well, what? See, I do normal things. I don't just exist as the cringy person online. Like, that's what people don't fucking understand. Like, I live a life outside of the shit. Like, people think, oh my god, Rosalie doesn't touch grass. And she tweets cringy shit on Twitter. It's like, no, I just don't tell people in my real life about this shit. Because why would I? Why would I tell somebody, like, that I know? I mean, obviously, there's some friends of mine who just, like, know because they're in the space or I don't know, I'm just really close and I trust them. But, like, most people, it's like, I gain no benefit to tell people about this, you know? Why should I tell them? And I'm like, I'm a super controversial figure online. Like, that's such a stupid thing to tell somebody. Like, that's an easy way to guarantee you have no friends. Are you back? No? Still talking to myself. I love that for me. I love that for me. I kind of just sound like a psychopath because I'm just like, just saying, if I could humanize you, I suppose to share things you're up to. Humanize me, please. I'm a human being.
What? You're a human being? No way.
No, okay, so I was just bored. I was just like talking to myself because I wanted to have some kind of entertainment. I'm just reading the comment.
Okay.
It could humanize you, I suppose, to share things you are up to. Got it. Okay, I'm sorry. I was reading chat. No. Don't worry, I wasn't saying anything like weird. I was just, I don't know.
That's okay, my
talking.
Chat's used to weird, so.
And it's just better than silence, I guess. I don't know. Or is silence preferable to me? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Some people will prefer the silence.
Science.
Based on some of the comments I get.
Science's greatest question.
To you. It's like, okay, I see how you feel. Wow, am I really that bad? Damn.
I mean, also taking I think a lot of people's statements are usually often hyperbolic from how they really feel. One thing to remember is like the days of like your internet presence being all about yourself is kind of gone. That was like the days of MySpace and shit. Now the internet's all about kind of being performative and putting on putting on a show for other people. And honest to God, I think that is the worst turn that the internet could have taken, in my opinion. But yeah, it is what it is.
It's like everyone hates me, but I go to my channel and it's like my videos pretty much consistently get like about 1,000 views per video, and like even my flop videos, like some of them don't do great, but like I know that I have like a bunch of people who are watching my shit, so it's like I get a bunch of dislikes every video I post, not because I think the video's bad, just because people don't like me, people don't like the shit that I've said, and so they'll like mass dislike even my like inoffensive videos, they'll just like dislike them all, and it's like, why are you coming back and checking in on every video that I made? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you'd be like, oh, I don't care about you. So why are you still here?
Yep.
What are you still doing on my space? Move on. Oh, wait, you can't because I'm entertaining and you like checking in on me. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it obviously brings some enjoyment to their day where they continue to engage with your content.
Oh, I don't want to bring Rose back. Oh my God, Rose is the worst. But I left such an impression on you that I'm memorable. That's got to say something. Maybe it's not like great, but it's like, I have value in this space. I truly believe so. And I can improve that value by becoming a better debater, by improving the shit that I'm doing. But, I don't want to just, like, give up because some person online says, hey, you suck. Like, what does that do for me? I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's really what matters. And if I, can learn from this shit and become better at what I do, that's what I want to do.
How much of the, panel circuit have you engaged in the last little bit, now that you're kind of wanting to come back?
Not that much, unfortunately. I just haven't been invited to stuff. I want to ask people.
Well, you need to ask. In this space, there is like, if you're waiting for an invite, it may never come. In this space, you have to. Oh yeah, for sure. You have to make yourself that you're like one of the biggest pieces of advice that was given to me is you need to make yourself known in the space by letting people know, because organizing panels is a really big pain in the ass. If Zen is still in chat, he'll 100% agree with that. And one of the best things you can do to get known in the space is let people know that you are easily available to go on panels. They love that kind of shit.
Well, yeah, I feel like I did that, though. And I used to, it's so funny. I was at the very start of it. I made this whole thing to, like, get on everybody's channel within, like, 1 month or so. And then I did that. I pretty much accomplished it. I went down the whole list. And at that point, it's like, I've already talked to this person. I don't want to bother them again. But I guess I should.
You have to.
Maybe I just be and I did that for years. And that's probably the thing that, like, is the thing. And that's kind of how I got to where I am. Because I was just that kind of person that would annoy people. And maybe I'm just, like, moving past. It's like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I gotta revert back to those old habits.
Organic growth is hard. Organic growth is really hard.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's why, like, it kind of like standing on the backs of the giants and using like connections and things like that. And I think a lot of like, while you might see it and while I might see it as like bugging people, I don't think most content creators see it as like bugging people if you're willing to go on and have like conversations like this where you can have like discussions and ideas or debates or things like that. I think it's like really good. And there's a lot of like, I'd say there's a lot of hungry, smaller channels out there for like conversations and things like that. You just have to be a little careful on how you. Some of them are a little squirrely. So.
A little what?
Squirrely, a little nuts.
Oh, yeah,
in the way they engage with other people. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
People can be a little crazy, but it's okay. I just I don't know. The problem is like people will be fine with me for a little bit, and then they'll suddenly decide they don't like me because of some shit I said 2 years ago. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
Nothing.
And I've had this happen so many times. It's like, oh yeah, I like Rose. I've had her on a few times. She's cool. And then it's like, oh, I just discovered that she made this tweet about rape in 2020. She's evil, and I'm never talking to her again. Like, what the fuck? Isn't this like the community that like forgives people and lets people grow and change? And now it's like, oh, I can't with Rose and Mulet. It's like, stop being hypocrites.
No, this, like you said, this space is not at all about growth. So.
Yeah. But the thing is, I just gotta be in this space. I gotta be the topic of conversation. I gotta make it so it's like impossible to avoid me.
that is a way to go about it. Yes.
Like it's hard, and I can't do that overnight. But I just gotta make it happen. So I'm working on it. It's easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
But I just, I gotta post a video that like goes viral. Like I had a Kendrick Lamar video go viral. I had a tweet that You know, it's really interesting. The tweet that went viral, my viral tweet made me come back on Hunter Avalone's again, and it kind of led to me talking to Destiny again.
Okay.
So, you know, which is amazing that I talked to him twice. Now I still have to get number 3 because, you know, 3 times the charm.
Hell yeah.
And then Bosch, after I had my conversation with Bosch, he said that I was smart and he'd want to talk to me again. But then in an offhand comment, some other stream, something I just said or did came up, and he was like, he said he didn't like me or some weird thing that he changed his stance on me, which is so fucking weird. And it's just like, I don't know. I hate when this happens with people.
So a lot of that sometimes too can be that they want to have like audience retention. And if you have somebody that is getting a lot of pushback from their audience that they shouldn't be engaging with like a certain person because the audience feels a certain way, they're going to not want you back on just because they're afraid of the backlash from their own community.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Yeah. It's a term I believe called like audience capture, where you kind of your content, like at first it kind of starts out your own kind of thing, and this is sometimes that I worry that if like anybody ends up happening, is your audience kind of ends up dictating what you do or what you don't do just because you don't want to lose that audience. Yeah. So.
You know what I'm terrified the most of, though? I think part of the reason that scares me
spiders.
Is I would hate to come back on and then just like talk for 5 minutes and have nothing to talk about, and I'm just sitting here in this like awkward thing, or it's like I'm in this thing where I'm just totally not prepared. If I do this again, I want to have a game plan. I want to have a lot of things that I want to cover. I want to have, you know, I want to be properly prepared. I want to like, you know, have my opinions improve or thought about in such a way that I can, you know, carry myself in the debate with these people. So it's like my biggest fear is like I go back and then it just becomes like a fucking train wreck. It's like I don't want that. So it's just that's part of the reason that kind of scares me away. I think the first debate I did with Destiny, those first few minutes were so like nerve-wracking. Even with Vosh, they were so nerve-wracking.
I bet.
Because it's like this is a guy that like I've watched before or is really popular. And now I have to convince myself that I'm worth this space. Now I have to convince myself that, like, hey, you're not wasting your time by doing this. You know, you're not regretting doing this email with me. And it's like I have to, you know, make sure that it's worth it for these people and that I'm entertaining everybody. It's a lot of pressure.
It is.
It's worth it, but it's a lot of pressure, and I don't want to disappoint them.
What makes
I don't want them to think that I'm not worth their time. That's my biggest fear. I'm scared of that.
What do you think it is that makes it worth it? All that stress.
A fun conversation.
Okay.
Just like the attention I get from it, like there's stuff that makes it worth it. It absolutely is. I don't know. I don't know.
That's fair. Be an interesting question to kind of sort out. Yeah.
Yeah. How long do you think you're gonna keep streaming for? Just curious.
I probably got about half an hour more, and then I should get things ready to go pick up my my kid from daycare. So.
Oh, cool. I'm sorry about the door. I was thinking about heading out maybe in a bit, or I can stay if you want me to. I can stay for the rest of the half hour if that's what you prefer.
Whatever you want.
But I'm kind of feeling like I'm on my way out.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, then we can call it. I don't mind. I'm pretty lackadaisical. So.
Okay. How long do you think we've been talking for? Do you know?
Let's see. Probably about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, somewhere in there.
That's fair. That's a good amount of time, right?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of content today for fucking the next couple of days of uploading, so.
Oh, you're gonna upload this?
Hell yeah!
Sweet.
As long as I'm hitting recording, because it takes forever to download it off a YouTube site.
Yeah. Oh, did you record it?
Oh yeah, I'm straight. Yeah, I always make sure to usually hit the record button because it's easier to fiddle with it after if I've recorded it than it is to just stream it and download it after.
You know, it's funny because I think this is a good conversation for me to share with other people because it's like I haven't had many recently.
Yes.
But I feel like if people see this, it's like kind of like a more positive light. So I like that.
I would, and if you wanna take like a copy from YouTube or whatever, feel free. So my content is Sue content.
Absolutely. No, you upload it. I mean, unless you want me to upload it, I don't think about it. Just I get like really nervous about the views. It's like if I post a video and I think that it's gonna get less than 1,000 views, I just don't think it's worth it half the time. Because it's just
really?
like I want the consistency on my channel. I want my channel to look clean and professional. I have videos that flop. I'm just like, I don't know. So it's really hard for like a channel of my size to get the views that I do consistently. But I find ways to make it happen, and it usually works. Sometimes I miss. But you know,
That's fair. That's one thing that I'm definitely like. I could have 100 views. I could have 1,000 views. It really doesn't. None of it bothers me if it's considered like a flop or not. So yeah.
well, I like admire that quality, but if I have like a bunch of videos on my channel that are like 100 views and I lose subs and it messes up the algorithm, that sucks.
Yeah.
I had 2 videos that I posted like a few months ago, and I posted them back to back, and they did terrible. Like I'm talking 300. Actually, yeah, 300. The other one has like 450 or 500 views on my channel, which is some of the worst performing videos I've ever had. Which is like I usually get 1,000, so when something does less than that, it's like really bad. And I had 2 of those in a row that I posted back to back within like a day of each other. So I was like, oh my god, is my channel gonna die? Like people had left comments about it. But then like the most 2 recent videos I posted after that, and it's so funny because every time I post a video, I have like this whole, I don't post videos unless I think or I'm pretty sure it's gonna do well. So I did that with these 2 recent videos to make sure that it's not just like crazy. Like my videos can still do well if I do the right stuff. And then I posted 2 more videos, and then I got 1.5K views, 1.3K views. Like not the best views my videos have ever gotten, but like it's over 1K, so they're average or slightly above average. So that's good for me. So it proves that if I make the right content, I jump on the right trends, my channel's not dead. It can still perform well. But I also want growth. And if I'm just like staying, or if my channel's on it's on a decline, I want it to like get more views than I did the year before. And I feel like the 3 months from like April to like June or July this year, maybe August, that was my peak. You know what I'm saying? Ever since like September or so, it's just been like declining. And I've had periods like this before, and I've recovered, believe me. But it's just like it's hard, and it makes me lose motivation when it's just like,
oh, for
I'm
sure,
in like flop era. And I gotta get out of that shit.
Well, especially when you think it should be doing better than it is, it can be kind of hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess for like myself, I've always like, I never had a platform before. I don't expect people to engage with my content, so when people do engage with my content, it's a little bit of a windfall. So that's why like 1,000 views is great, like 100 views, 10 views, like it doesn't really matter. Just knowing that anybody took the time to engage with my content is like it's a win in my book. So
absolutely, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah. It is a hard mentality to adopt, though. So
yeah, I just like being a part of the conversation, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody does. I think it's like part of that wanting to be understood type deal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, make sure you shout yourself out before you leave, huh?
Oh yeah. My YouTube channel is Rose Mulet. Go ahead and follow me. I just hit 1.67K, which is 1,670 subscribers.
Nice.
I want to hit. My goal with this year was to hit 2K. By the end of the year, and it looked possible. Like originally, it was like a long shot because I just hit 1K or whatever. But then the Destiny stuff happened, and I just like shot up. Like,
for sure.
1.2K, 1.4K, and it looked like I was on track to do it. But then my sub growth just kind of slowed down. It's like a little stagnant, but like now it's better, and I'm a little bit of an uptick, but it's like temporary. But I'm 2/3 of the way there, so that's decent. It means that I should hit 2K next year. And I would love to do that. But I'll link my channel.
Yeah, for sure.
See if anyone wants to sub to me. I make good videos. I spend a lot of time working on them. There you go. Or actually, hold on. Let me see if I can do youtube.com/c/.
Rose, you want to be a YouTuber? Suck it up.
These links do not work. Whatever.
That's okay. I just linked it in chat for you.
You did?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm always up for shouting people out. And yeah, for sure. Like if you have somebody like you want to reach out to conversation, they're like, I don't really know. Just be like, just link them either this VOD or the conversation that I'll put up, and use it as a like a jumping point to getting back onto people's shows and being like, hey,
I'd love to.
Yeah, for sure.
Stand the Rose Mulet redemption arc.
Hell yeah, it'd be an interesting thing. I mean, it gets my name out there. It benefits me. It benefits you, and
yeah,
I'm all about.
I agree absolutely, and that's why I'm so glad to talk to you. Just like talking to anybody, just like and I think you're a nice guy. We've talked before,
Yeah, when that one guy's not here, yeah, it's a lot easier conversation.
Dude, you still remember Spook Show, right?
Oh yeah.
he has such a fucking problem. He's one of those guys that's just like obsessed with me. He has been for like a long fucking time.
Is that the one that's
Dude,
still making like the videos and shit that you were talking about earlier?
no, it's a different person.
Oh Jesus, guy.
Dude, it's so weird. I have so many people obsessed with me, and I don't know why. So this spook show guy,
yeah,
he literally told me one day. He's like, he goes to his therapist and he talks about me. He's like, so there's this trans girl that the stuff that she says like really bothered me. And it's like, you're literally telling your therapist that you're obsessed with me, dude. You have a problem.
yeah,
like,
no shit.
Like, is it bad to say this? I don't know, but it's like. So Nate is Lame is this YouTuber. He made a video about me, and then he was a fan of that YouTuber. And it was essentially the YouTuber had like 200,000 subscribers, and it was like, Rose Malay's a terrible person. I'll tell you why in 17 minutes. Why she should never associate with anybody. He was one of the people that hated me then, but then he grew into this weird relationship where he's like, he doesn't hate me, but now he's just like interested. I intrigue him. My tastes are so bad, but he's just so interested. It's like, it's interesting.
That is.
But he hasn't talked to me in a while, so that's cool.
Probably sound like a little bit of a schoolyard crush on his end. Jesus.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. I think he might be underage. I don't fucking know. He might
Oh,
be,
okay.
Like 17, 18. All I know is that this dude was like tweeting stuff about me, about how he didn't like me, and then I like talked to him on Discord because he like debate me, and he's like, oh, you didn't upload the video, you coward. It's like, I didn't upload it because I didn't think anyone would care, and also you were yelling at me the whole time. But it's like, I don't know, but he's an interesting person. I don't think people like that are like bad. I just think the guy has his own issues, or whatever. I think Spook Show might be trans or something. So oops. I don't fucking remember. I'd have to look back.
Well, one of the biggest things you can use to your advantage, if you have unhinged haters like that, you need to play into those people, and you like that. Like if that was an unhinged conversation where he's just like screaming and losing his mind, people love that shit. They love unhinged people. Yeah.
I had this idea that I was gonna post content that I had just never posted. I had all the ideas I was gonna make throughout the year, just never got around to for one reason or another. I was gonna make like a short 20-minute video with like a minute or two for each idea. And I was going to post some of that conversation. Like, I even have it, like, on my community tab somewhere, like, some of the clips from it. But, I do want to post it. I just never got around to it. And I feel bad because I think I might have promised that I would post it. And it's not because I'm, like, afraid that I got owned or some shit. Like, I know people, like, are probably not going to agree with me. But I don't think I did terrible in that debate either. I think I did fine. And I held my composure. And I don't know.
Yep.
Something to think about. I need to be better about uploading. Sorry. I'm kind of overstaying my welcome.
No, you're good. Alrighty. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. Well, I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right. Sweet. Okay. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and check out other cool content on the channel. Thank you.